All right, we'll call to order the planning board meeting for Tuesday, November 10th, 2015. Is there anybody here to speak to something that is not on the agenda? All right. Planning board minutes for October 27th. Did everybody get a chance to look at those?
Yeah.
Yes.
I make a motion, we accept the planning board meeting of the,
I request that you rescind that motion and be prepared to remake it, but I ask that you modify the name Schumann.
Oh, yes,
Well, there were a couple other names on that first page that were not,
yeah.
that we didn't know. I don't know if we need to fix those or if that's as good as it's gonna get.
What were they?
Old Grahowski from 120 Hendrick Street was, I guess that was a sign-in list where you tried to read the
Yeah,
names
what
later.
I typically do is, that's why we have the addresses, I look them up in the assessor's database and I try to confirm spellings
Yeah.
based on the assessor's database, but
I
I,
tried that too.
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
But is
Yeah,
it?
no.
Okay, so that's,
All right.
Okay,
other than that one name change, I had no other modification.
okay. With that, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes
Second.
of October 27th.
Second by Jim. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And I will abstain, since I was not there for the whole thing.
Can't go 2/3.
Okay, 2/3 of an aye? No, that sounds like a slippery slope. All right, no A&Rs or old business, so we'll move on to new business. A special permit application for 152 Northampton Street, Matthew and Jamie Roncohen.
Yep.
All right, you guys want to come up and
You sit.
tell us a little bit about your application and what you're planning to do?
Okay, you sit or you?
You can sit or stand, yeah, sit down, get comfortable.
Alright, so the house itself was used as a residence, and our proposed use is Jamie's had a business in town as a massage therapist, and instead of renting, she wants to open up her own place where she can treat and also have some other massage therapists and a therapist and a Reiki and things like that. So it's all gonna be massage and body work. We've been dealing with Fred Fedor exclusively about the plan because we wanted to make sure there was access to parking and safe access to and from Route 10, which would have been a nightmare without it. So he's agreed, and he's actually selling us an extra piece of property. So the lot right now is 60 by 80. It's going to be 80 by 80 when it's done. So it's non-conforming now. It's still gonna be non-conforming, but hopefully a little less so. So I had Bill Cannon draw plans up for us. We talked a lot about the parking and where we wanted to put it to, first of all, make it safest in and off of Route 10. So this plan we came up with allows people to drive straight in off the road and park, and they can back out and park straight and pull straight out onto Route 10 again. So there's nobody backing into Route 10.
And the curb cuts are already present.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about curb cuts. We have to do the minimum amount of paving as possible. Almost everything that's for parking is already paved except for this little area here.
Yep.
And then we would have to actually do a small section over here for handicap parking so that they're closer to the building.
Yep.
We measured the rise and we had a contractor come in and we have the plan for the ramp. And the only differences on the plan from what we found out is since I did the plans, this ramp at the end has to be 5 by 5, so it'll be slightly bigger here.
Okay.
That's the only difference. The house itself was used as a residence, so there's a lot of rooms that aren't gonna be used, obviously. The kitchen, we're not gonna need the kitchen. The basement's got heat and stuff like that. The primary use is gonna be 4 rooms that are in the house, and there's a misprint. I noticed I put 5. There's 4 treatment rooms.
Okay.
So there's 2 rooms downstairs and 2 rooms upstairs that are gonna be used for the massage business. And there's no blueprints for the house, so I just added it all up. It came to about 890 square feet, which is almost 900 square feet. So I figured we have to have at least 3 spots, but we need more than that, just for people coming in and out, and so there's not everybody squeezed together, and also for snow removal. So the way I have this figured is the snow's gonna get pushed along the back of the house during the winter, because this is all paved through here. And there's plenty of room for 1 car here. This can all be snow during the winter. There's going to be this section that we're gonna leave open, so there's not, piles snowed up or snow piled up along here. We can have a section there, and then this section next to the road and pushing it back over into here too. So I've got it set up so I'll do the plowing myself. I have my own truck, so I can move all the snow off to the side. There's no dumpster. Jamie probably uses
I'm
maybe,
probably gonna end up using pedal people. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the small amount of trash
yeah,
that
it's
I,
like nothing. Some
Yeah.
tissue papers
Yeah.
and some toilet paper. And stuff
Are
like
there
that.
other people working there, or is it just you?
It would be, I would be primarily, and then I would have people subletting, so not employees, but people who sublet. Like the
Okay.
same people that sublet with me over at Mechanic Street now. There's a
Yeah.
nutritionist, another massage therapist, and someone who does Reiki and hypnosis.
So there'd be 4 of you operating out of there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I think there was some question we had about the number of parking spaces. Jessica, this gets considered as a
So the permit itself is under the table of use category of,
beauty or barber shop?
beauty, barber shop,
Oh,
or
there.
other related uses.
Yeah.
There was a, category that this fits under. And then the table of, the parking table has a similar category which requires, I think it's one,
I think it's 2
two
spots for
spaces
every.
for each operating chair. So if they have 4 rooms, that could be considered the operating chair is each room, which would then translate to 8 spaces instead of the 5 that they had written.
Well, in
originally.
actuality, there would only be, at most, if ever, would be 3 practitioners at one time. Because one of those treatment rooms is actually going to be an infrared sauna, which I use in conjunction with my work. So it's not someone in there working, it would be one of my clients
Yeah.
that would be in there. So it wouldn't be, so there'd be only 3 body workers at one time.
But so you have 8 on here anyway. So
Right.
even if you
Yeah.
have, even if you treat each room as its own,
Right.
You still have the 8.
it's still the 8
and
that I
that,
think you
and
need.
I didn't go into details on that, cause I had talked to, I think Jamie had given me, you weren't there that day, cause we talked about whether it was gonna be considered all other professional services,
Right.
or I forget what it was.
Beauty or
Beauty or
barbershop.
body, so I figured we'd cover both bases
I
just in
think,
case.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
So originally, we had talked about 9 spots, but I didn't wanna put one right next to Route 10 here,
Mhm.
because we need room for snow still, and this is actually 2 spots.
Okay.
Because you can go way back,
Yeah.
but then in the
Right.
winter time, you're not gonna have those 2. So that's why we drew it this way, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which covers both
Yeah.
those scenarios. So it is gonna be considered under beauty shop, okay.
But you
Well, I
go.
mean, just to further consistency of the permit,
Yeah.
typically, if you're gonna put yourself under one use category
Yeah.
to figure out what permit you need, whether it's a special permit or site
Yeah.
plan approval, that same use category, if it exists in the parking
Yeah.
table, it should be consistent.
Okay.
So, in actuality, you're gonna have 8 spaces plus the handicap space and the one being
8 included.
included?
7
Okay.
plus
Yeah.
1.
Okay.
And it doesn't for this use isn't one of the ones that seems to pull out extra employee spots either. So it looked like it was 8 total. Even if you designate one as employee, I don't think that changes the number
I
for
would think
this.
that that's why you have 2 spaces, one for whoever is working in the chair, the
Yeah.
operating
Right.
chair, and then the other is the client.
Yeah, that's what it has.
Some logic there. Good thinking, Jessica.
Yeah.
Well, and that's how I figured it when
'Cause I
when
was
we
trying
were
to
talking
figure it out, too.
about
I'm like,
what
me
we,
too.
how many, before we even knew what was required, I said, we need 8 spots, and
Right.
that was kind of the number I threw out, just,
4 practitioners and
Right.
4 patients.
and that's
yeah.
if we're all there full boat
Yeah.
at the same time, which is pretty unlikely, but,
All right.
Better be safe than sorry.
yeah.
Exactly.
So looking through the criteria for the special permit, conformance with the provisions of the ordinances of the city of East Hampton, general laws, and all applicable rules and regulations. I don't see any issues with that.
No.
You guys, it looks
Good.
like it's pretty much protection of city amenities and budding properties. It seems to be a pretty low key.
No, I have a
Sure.
quick question about that. I didn't get a chance to go drive by the property, but I did look on Google Maps, which can be alarmingly incorrect, so I'm hoping
I can
you...
answer most of them, probably.
It almost looked to me like there was another building behind
There
it.
is, so
There
Nikki,
is.
Nikki and Betty they're putting up the gym here,
I see.
and they also own like a property that goes behind here, so there's a vinyl fence here along, which we originally thought was on this property, it's not, it's on his property.
Okay.
And there's a garage back there.
Is there any drainage in that area where you're putting the snow?
He's got a huge drain, and I'm up above, so it's gonna drain down a little bit, but there's also grass all along here. So there's just a little piece of pavement here, this is all grass all through
Okay.
here. His lot is completely paved, like, everything around us is pavement, except for this lot and a little tiny berm along here. So he's got drains, there's a drain back here, and then I don't know what he did over there, if he put one in or something on that, but.
I don't think there's any issues with that one.
Yeah. And there's no alteration of
No.
trees or anything like that. You don't have
No.
anything on there.
Originally, because originally he wasn't gonna give us this land, we thought we were gonna have to take the sun porch down, but now with this extra,
Yeah.
it's perfect, we don't have to do anything. The only thing we might do is, if you look on the plans, it shows steps and things here.
Yeah.
We're gonna take some of that sidewalk away, cause people are
They're
gonna
just,
drive.
they're just,
Driving.
like
Little
12 by
square
12
pavers.
stone
Yeah.
pavers that aren't
And
even,
there's
yeah, they're just
there's,
set in the grass.
planters like the nailed against the wall
Wooden
here. Those are gonna
planters.
take out, and they're falling
Okay.
apart anyway.
Traffic and safety impacts, looks like it doesn't alter it at all really, I think that should be good there.
Well handled.
Disposal of sewage and refuse and the drainage of surface and subsurface water, I think we covered that.
Yeah, no, I just wanna confirm, you said it's a minimal amount of use, I think that's fine, but I wanna make sure that there's nothing toxic in the waste.
Anything
No.
unusual or
No.
chemicals or anything like that that's sort of out of the ordinary?
Urine and excrement, you know,
Yeah, I
sewer,
mean, pretty-
sewer
yeah.
things, that's it.
Yeah, pretty much,
Yeah.
I mean, it's tissues for people blowing their nose, and that's about all I've ever seen. is
There's
that
no
little-
needles, no any other
Alright,
lotion and oils that are pure enough to practically eat, so.
yes, Harry?
Do they have any kind of lighting on this property at all, on the back, front, side, or anything?
We have not, I don't believe there's any on the outside, I haven't looked, but
No.
it is one of the things that we will be putting on lighting, and I will probably be doing some sort of security
Actually,
camera
there's a
system.
lamp
I
in
don't
there.
know if there's, I was gonna put them on the building, what do you call those?
Yeah,
Fog-
yeah.
not
Yeah.
fog lights,
I know what you mean.
Spotlights?
spotlights,
Yeah.
I
thank
actually
you.
think there's
Yeah.
one on that door, isn't there one, didn't you mention it looked like the one we had at home, had the little hanging thing on it?
That's just a porch light, though.
Right,
That's
yeah,
not
yeah,
a action, no, I want something out to the parking
parking lot.
But I think the carpet, does the carpet place have is there a
There are
street
some
light? There's a
street lights
street
out
light
there.
Yeah,
I don't
there's
know.
a street light. I
It's a
think.
business across the street too, on the
Yeah,
other
there's a
side.
business.
Well, and I think we were talking about the streetlights last hearing that they have at the gym there already too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will be, for my own comfort too, there will be something to be lighting this parking area, cause no one likes to walk to a dark
Mhm.
car.
Yeah, get out there, on a bad night or something.
Yeah, yeah, and some of her clients are, after work clients too.
Yeah.
So like on Thursdays and Mondays, she's home like 8:30 sometimes.
Okay. No wetlands or watersheds to worry about. City resources, I'm assuming water supply, things like that, there's nothing unusual as far as your uses that you anticipate.
So up to public sewer and water.
Off-street loading and unloading of vehicles, any deliveries or anything like that that happens? No, and you've got the parking that we've talked about, the
I
lighting.
mean, unless it's like a UPS package. that's-
Right.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no truck deliveries.
Oh, that's what I was gonna ask.
Efforts to integrate the development into the existing landscape, I mean, there's minimal landscaping on there, I think.
I hired Bill Cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if anything,
Touching bushes
there'll be some nice plants added in this area just for aesthetics,
Yeah,
to make it more aesthetically pleasing from.
and there's no
Canada.
trees on the lot right
There
now.
is,
right?
There's
there's a
one.
nice,
There's
pop-
one there.
yeah, there's a nice poplar tree right here, it's really close to the edge of the border. too.
Yeah.
So, I know Nikki had said something about,
They already
Um,
pulled out half these
yeah, those
bushes.
hedges-
There was hedges here and they already pulled out most of them.
Yeah,
Fred
So
Fedor
the
pulled a bunch of
last,
stuff
yeah,
out.
he pulled them out, so the one that's sitting there looking half broken and ugly will probably pull out, and we're hoping to just extend the fence that's already here.
yeah.
And just
Yeah.
extend the fence down.
Are you gonna be able to keep that tree, you
Yeah.
think? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm
It would be good
hoping.
if you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing that might interfere with that tree is if he does something over there, which I've asked him not to.
Yeah,
Cause he was talking about a little retaining wall, I said, Nick, it's gonna give you this, basically 4 feet of extra room, which is
And,
why
and
you
it's
bother.
gonna get into the
And
roots of
it-
that
it would
tree,
hurt
so
the
we said
tree-
just
the
leave
tree
it, we
roots,
want,
so
it's our
I
one
think-
tree, leave us
Right.
our one
I
tree.
know Nikki professionally, so.
Yeah, we would like to see, some kind of greenery.
Yeah, well, that's the thing,
Well, I
these
have
hedges
a-
are gone, they had to be, but
Right.
everything
Yeah.
else, once we have everything set up and the springs back here, Jamie's gonna do some nice stuff.
I have, there's someone who does, I don't know if you guys have seen the work outside of like, Paradise Coffee in Northampton, and
Yes.
like that type of, beautiful plants that are there, and the house across the street from that has all that
Yes.
lush, nice greenery. That
They do
landscaper is a
good
client
work.
of
Yeah.
mine,
You're gonna have them do it?
Yeah, he's a client
Is
of
it
mine,
tree
so.
frog?
Yes,
No, it's not tree frog, landscape. So I'm gonna have him come in and do some aesthetics.
okay.
that'll make it look
That'll look
Yeah.
pretty.
Architectural style, setback, placement of parking, that's all done, there's not really anything that applies here, I don't think.
nice.
Prevent pollution of surface or groundwater, we've already talked about that, there's nothing going down the drains or anything, right?
I don't even use bleach, so.
And ensuring that the use will not constitute a nuisance with air, water pollution, or noise. I don't think that
No.
there's a risk of that. Anybody
Okay.
have any other questions?
I think that we should probably make specific mention, given whatever decision we come to, that it's 4 and not 5 rooms as noted in the actual
Yep.
application.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, change that.
And I guess just for the record, we did get responses from Fire Department, Board of Health, City, Conservation Commission,
That
and Jim
None of
Grant.
them had
None of them
any-
had any comments, so
A lot of no comment.
I think that's pretty much it. Anybody else have any other questions?
So I didn't see any real conditions. It seems like you met everything we needed with the one exception of changing the 5 to 4 rooms, is that?
Right.
Yeah, let's just make that explicit. We'll make that explicit in the decision.
Okay, so I motion to approve the special permit for 152 Northampton Street with the comment that it is in fact 4 rooms of the house that'll be used for the business and not 5.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
No, just out of curiosity, was this process that hard to do?
No.
Because it's all I hear from, I'm not gonna say, from people as well,
Yeah.
it's tough getting business in East Hampton. Now, we've approved like 3 of these, like in the last month,
Yeah.
or the last couple of weeks. And the process, this isn't that hard to do.
No,
Well, the thing is, you have to do your homework and you have to know what
Right.
you're,
Put
I
your
mean,
eggs in the basket
we
and they're
worked our
done.
butt off to make sure we had someone drawing this that knew what they were
You were well
doing and,
prepared.
Yeah, that was
And
extremely
so-
important. We've
So-
had people come, with no clue what they're trying to do. And this is really nice, you know exactly
well,
what's
and it
going on.
helps that I have someone who's, you know,
I run
got,
businesses
he
in
has 2
Greenfield now,
greenfields
so,
and
yeah.
and they own both the properties there, so at least,
Besides, you met my 2 criteria I usually ask, handicap and snow removal.
Yeah. Well, I own 2 businesses in Greenfield, I had to apply for special permits 3 times for both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, when I went into Greenfield, I was like, just moved into town, and nobody knew me, and one of the things I know is in a small town, first of all, don't go in there like you own the place, and ask a lot of questions, and try to have all the questions answered before you go in. And, even then, sometimes you get surprised, so I try to do my homework and make sure it's gonna work. And we wouldn't even wanna start, we told them months ago that if we can't have this
Yeah.
size and
it
have
was a
good
no-go
parking,
if
then
I
we're
didn't
not gonna
have
do
to
it.
park.
Yep.
Yeah.
It took 3 months to get a
All right.
signature, so.
Good
Well,
luck.
We'll be happy to do
congratulations. So we
business
have,
in
what,
town.
2 weeks?
So, yeah, we have 14 days to draft the decision. I try to get it done within a week if I
Okay.
can. And once it's drafted and signed off by the chair, then I will email you a copy and then I'll send you a hard copy in the mail. Then there is a 20-day appeal period, so once it gets time-stamped by the city clerk, the clock starts ticking. And then after 20 days, you need to stop by the city clerk's office and get the certification that no appeals have been filed, and then you need to take that document and file it at the registry of deeds.
You remember all that, right?
Will
You
that
don't
be in
need to
the
do
email you
anything.
send me?
Wait for the decision, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have it all,
Okay.
it's all in a packet, it's all
Okay.
very there's directions over everything, so
Okay.
it'll be very self-explanatory when you actually get it.
Okay.
But,
Alright.
so, you
So
know,
from here on in, it's semantics that have to be taken care of though? Is
yeah,
that-
I need to draft the decision, which is the findings of the
Okay.
board, that you've met all the
Okay.
criteria for the permit. It has a narrative explaining what you're asking for.
But the
it's a
2-week,
record of the vote. The 2
period
weeks is 14 days.
Is
Yeah.
for,
That's
That's
state
the-
law.
to
That's the
appeal.
time for us to get the decision out. The
Right.
20
Okay.
days is the appeal.
Appeal.
It's state law,
Okay.
but technically somebody could appeal it and challenge it, so, your better
Case it
course of
couldn't get
conduct
here.
is,
Unlikely since it went in your favor. so-
Right.
right, okay.
so,
Alright.
all right, good luck,
All
folks.
right, thanks a lot.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for your
Good
time,
night.
everybody. Have a good
Yeah.
night. Have a good drive back.
So will we
Alright.
be filing the A&R plan for the next meeting, or not sure, sometime before the end of the year?
Well, what would you recommend, as soon as possible?
Whatever works for you.
Okay, I'll just
we
tell him
meet
to get
every
on it.
couple weeks.
It was funny because he said something about, not wanting to stick his neck out or something because and I said, it's $50. I've
Okay.
spent $3,000 by now already. I
Right,
said, I think
right.
you can stick your neck out for $50.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
All right, so,
Anyway,
All right, thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank
It was,
you.
and in answer to your
Cheers.
question
My name
explicitly, it was
across.
very smooth.
all right, good, thank you.
Storm.
Thank
All right,
you.
Jess, do we have any administrative items or anything?
No, just a couple things that I sent you today. One was the 2016 schedule for the planning board. If somebody wouldn't mind just double checking it to make sure I have it all right, I use
Oh,
Excel,
the
so it should
dates?
be fine.
Okay.
but if somebody wanted to just double check it, I did it in Excel and I double checked it, but a triple check wouldn't hurt. And please put those dates in your calendar and note that we will be moving upstairs to the top meeting room as of next, starting in 2016, so that we'll have a larger space to accommodate our huge crowds.
Right.
And then also you received today via email is just a summary of how to run a public meeting. It was developed by the assistant planner for the ZBA, so it's, but a lot of it works for
Pertains
the
to
planning
us.
board as well. It's
Good.
our standard public hearing process, and so it's a lot of information in there, but hopefully it'll help the board in guiding on some of these, bigger
Yeah.
hearings, but there's a lot of important information in there. So,
I would like a copy of that.
sure, I'll make you a hard copy,
Thank you.
that's fine. Anybody else feel like they need a hard copy, please
No,
let me know.
my
I printed it.
printer's
It's good
finally
information.
working, so
Okay.
It was
I
very
got
good.
a copy.
All right,
Thank you.
can I get a motion to adjourn?
Sure, you have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.